Now, there was a awesome discussion in the Teal Tribe group on the subject of A.J. Miller. Do you remember the guy that claims to be Jesus?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember you posted that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because I'd seen some of his videos, I like what he's had to say, but then I had some doubts and had heard of some various accusations and whatnot, but so far what I've seen of what he's teaching is really right on. And there's a very fascinating video in which he talks about his, so he claims life is Jesus, and that's exactly one of the things he says, is that he didn't want to focus on these miracles because that exactly for that reason.
Yes.
And really what he's teaching now is about the importance of especially the emotional state of being and healing emotional wounds and stuff like that. So do you have any, are you familiar with, have you seen any of his videos or anything? Or
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. So you don't have any sense as to whether this guy actually is Jesus or not?
No, I do have a sense. I think that what has happened is exactly what I am describing, where there are portions of people are thinking too literally about reincarnation. Perhaps even him. Of course, I haven't talked to him, so I don't know whether he's actually thinking this or not. But when we think literally and very, very physically based about reincarnation, we're convinced that this person is a clump of energy and that clump continues from life to life, almost like it's wearing a physical body suit. But that's not how consciousness works. And so what you find at this particular time, I'll just be honest, and I'm like, it's ironic because I grew up so anti-Christian, it was unbelievable. So what I'm about to say is shocking. We're in the return of Christ, basically, right now. And so Christ consciousness is making an immense return onto center stage. And so when that happens, what you notice is that the consciousness that was participating in the perspective of Jesus is now incarnated in multiple different people. And so, and I'm hoping Buddha comes back in the future too, but in this particular time, Jesus is the one making a return. So I have not watched him myself, but I would not surprise me at all if it was definitely an aspect of that consciousness. And I would imagine that it's a massively difficult position to fill, looking back at what has happened to your teachings and seeing that this is what has come of it.
Yeah. Because Christianity has been, in my mind, probably the single most destructive force on the planet.
Yes, it has been, and that's about to change. The Muslim religion is about to destroy everything. And it's going to make the Christian religion look like child's play. Now, while I'm sitting in America and that sounds super bigoted, it's still true about where we're headed and about the consciousness of that particular religion. So when I get out of body, of course, there's all kinds of murmurings happening about what type of religious consciousness is the most harmful. And the two that are actually making the top of the list right now is Mormonism and Muslim. You know what I think is ironic is one is operating behind scenes and the other is operating in front of people's faces.
The Mormonism would be behind the scenes?
Yes. Yeah. Most people have no idea how much power, most people have no idea how many members, and it's sort of like making this very enormous silent uprising, basically. But with the Muslim religion, it's the exact opposite. It's going to be loud, it's going to be right in your face, and it's going to have no mercy. Which is ironic, of course, because, well, most people who really take over and stand for religion doing damage don't really actually stand for the actual religion, but they say they do, so. I mean, it's kind of like that. It's like people say, oh, I'm Christian, so let's go burn people who are gay, and it's like, you could not be more opposite of Christian if you literally tried. But we're going to run into the same thing with the Muslim religion soon.
Well, it's definitely manifesting now.
I have been staying away from the news, so all I get really is information from my little travels at night.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've been definitely, staying away from it more. I see some headlines here and there, but yeah, it's definitely not uplifting.
Yep.
So, how would you what does that mean, Christ consciousness?
What does that mean? Gosh, it's like, how do you quantify that? It's really this idea that you have to, it's the bringing of love back onto planet Earth, really. Yeah. So even though I tend to talk a lot more in terms of oneness, Christ consciousness is more about love and what you can do with love.
Mm-hmm. That's really, yeah, because there's a really interesting story that A.J. Miller tells in the course of that video, talking about his life as Jesus. And he says he was, a teenager or something, and there were like rumblings and murmurings that the Messiah was coming. There was a feeling that was happening.
Yes.
And so and he didn't think at that time that he was the Messiah.
Yep.
So he was looking around, like waiting for the Messiah to come. And when a spiritual teacher would show up and talk, then he wanted to go see all these guys and see which one might be the Messiah.
Yes.
And he said what he was looking for them to be talking about love.
Yes.
But then over and over again he would be disappointed because that wasn't what they were talking about. They were talking about morality. It's amazing and sad how that basic concept cannot seem to be conveyed.
Yes, I know.
No matter how many people try to.
Yeah, the question remains the same: how to lead people to it, because you can't teach these things by talking. Our words really only serve as a means to lead people into a state of experiencing. So until people experience the true power of love and the immunity of love, then they're never going to understand love. So your job really is not to help them to understand; it's to lead them to their own understanding. And to highlight a possibility. Yes.
Yeah. To just say there's a doorway here, you can step through if you like.
Exactly.